On the last episode of Eat, Sleep, Drive, I upset many of you by selling my E55 AMG. But hopefully this week I've totally redeemed myself by buying this minty E92 M3 from several states away. So on this episode of Eat, Sleep, Drive, we're gonna head to Chicago, buy this car, and then drive it home. Welcome everyone to an Eat, Sleep, Drive adventure. Now recently I sold my E55 AMG, much to everyone's chagrin on my YouTube channel, but don't worry, I'm replacing it with another performance German car. I'm replacing it with an E92 M3 and I'm super pumped to share it with you guys. The car itself is in Chicago. I right now am in Cincinnati at CVG Airport where most of my adventures start. Now I'm not flying there, I'm gonna take a rental car one way. So let's pop in this rental car. I'll update you with kind of all the information about the car as we get there closer, and then certainly do a bunch of video once I'm in it and give you guys my first impression. I booked the cheapest vehicle they would give me, and the cheapest vehicle was an F-150. Really? I'm probably gonna burn a little more gas than I would in an economy car, but at least I'll be comfortable. Chicago is about 300 miles from Cincinnati, so I hit the road and crossed my fingers that I wouldn't hit any traffic. I'm enjoying just lounging in my lazy boy here. That is this F-150. It is quite a comfortable ride. I will say new trucks are pretty good. But let's talk E92 M3. This is a car that I've had my eye on for a little while now because, number one, they're amazing. I used to own one. I had a four-door E90 M3 and I really liked it. I sold it a while ago just because I always sell cars, but I think they're sort of gonna be on their way up in value soon. I'm pretty sure they're at the bottom value wise. It's the only V8 M3 that they ever made. You know, it's the last naturally aspirated one. It's a very visceral experience to drive. It's a wonderful, wonderful car. So I would love to own another one and do some modifications. The last one I had, I just kept stock. And these things with an exhaust and stuff sounds so good. So this car I found on Auto Trader, actually, of all places. And it has right around 70,000 miles. It's the E92 M3. It's space gray and is a manual transmission. These were the three things that if I was going to buy another E90, E92 generation, this is what I wanted. Coupe, carbon roof, and manual. Because in my opinion, those are going to be the most collectible going forward. I spoke with the guy on the phone. He seemed to be pretty knowledgeable about the car. He seemed to have taken good care of the car. Always took it to, I believe the shop is called Performance Euro Works in Chicago. So once I found that out, I just called them and was like, hey, I'm interested in buying this guy's car. Like, can you tell me about it? And fortunately, they were willing to be very forthcoming with all the work they've done and the condition and everything. And it's originally from the South. It's not in, it has not been in Chicago all its life. So that's very important to me. I don't want a rusted car. This was a winner in my book. He was asking 23 grand. Still working on the price with this guy, but you know, going to be somewhere around there. And I think that is a hell of a deal. This is a lot of car for that money. So those are really all the details on the M3. This was a Friday night, so my plan was to get there late and wake up early to buy the car. All I had to do was get through lovely Chicago traffic. Once I finally arrived, I just wanted some food and drink before crashing for the night. If you're ever on the north side of Chicago, check out Makushla Brewing. Their Belgian wit was fantastic. Rise and shine and good morning. It's sort of a weird weather day here in Chicago. Isn't it always a weird weather day in the Midwest? It was like 45 degrees last night and now it's supposed to be like 85 degrees today. So I don't even know what's going on, but I'm gonna take the truck over. I'm only like 10 minutes away from this guy's house. Let's go take a look at this car for the first time. When I finally set eyes on this car in person, I was so relieved. It was very obviously well kept. I've bought and sold a lot of cars and I typically know right away when I see a car if it's a winner or not. And this one didn't disappoint. Sounds good. Needless to say, I was sold. With the money handed over, the only thing left for me to do was to pack up all the spares and hit the road. Oh, and did I mention by spares, I mean 6 wheels and tires along with a full exhaust? Yeah, it was a tight fit. Well guys, here we go. Sorry about all the background noise. It's super windy. I'm trying to be like as close to this building as possible so you don't get a bunch of wind noise, but here is the car. I'm really happy with it so far. I just tried to clean off the windshield and I'm pretty sure they just like were using dirt for a squeegee thing, so it looks terrible. Apologies, but the car is really dirty right now, but overall the car is super clean. I've gone over it for a while now and I can't find any evidence of paint work or anything like that. Everything seems to be original. It drives great. This thing has Swift springs. Sorry, not Swift springs, H&R springs. It has a Borla Attack axle back exhaust. What else does it have? That's pretty much it as far as mods. Everything else is pretty close to stock, and that's the way I like it. Now, I'll show you guys inside. If you ever wondered if you could fit 6 wheels and tires in a E92 coupe, you can, along with an exhaust. Like the factory exhaust is in the trunk. I crammed this thing full. Actually, I'll leave this open and show you guys the interior. It's in pretty good shape overall. It needs to be cleaned up, obviously, but pretty good shape. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm not having as much fun driving home because the seating position is terrible from me trying to fit all these wheels and tires in here. As you can see, I have the seat like basically all the way forward and almost vertical. So it's not the most comfortable driving experience just because of the position I'm in and my knees are literally hitting the dash. But other than that, I can't complain about the car at all. It was a good overall buying experience. So let's finish off this drive. I'll update you guys along the way as far as what I'm feeling about the car, how it drives and all those things while we're in the car. Driving the E92 M3 so far. If you're not very familiar with these cars, the main reason that they're very special, at least in my opinion and many people's opinions, is because it's the only M3 to have a V8 engine. It's a small displacement V8, and I think the thing that makes it a M3 or makes the V8 make sense in the M3 is because it's small displacement and it revs to the moon. It revs to over 8,000 RPMs, which I love. I love that about this car. And are you noticing a theme on this channel? I seem to like high revving V8s. So the engine is awesome in this car. It has a 6-speed manual transmission, which is pretty close ratio. Pretty much keeping the engine on boil because it doesn't have a ton of torque, being that it's only 4-liter engine, even though it's a V8. But it gets out of its own way just fine. I absolutely adore it. The suspension is pretty good on these H&R springs. They are aftermarket. It's, you know, Midwest roads, man, there's a lot of like huge potholes or like uneven bridge, like road stuff, and kind of, you know, bottomed out a few times on the bump stops, you can tell, which is kind of cringy, but overall it's driving really nice. I haven't really been able to test the handling because I have several hundred pounds of freaking wheels and tires and springs and exhausts and all kinds of crap in this car, so I'll give you guys a proper review as we get back to the home base. But I'm super stoked. Now, I don't want to jinx myself because we're not quite home yet, about an hour away, about 70 miles or so. Hopefully we make it, but overall very happy with my purchase so far, and I'll leave you guys with some exhaust clips as we wrap up this video. Well guys, I made it home in one piece, as did the car. Super pleased with this thing for not letting me down on that 300-mile maiden voyage. But, you know, I never really doubted it. This car's had a bunch of recent maintenance. Some common things that go wrong with these, like leaky valve covers, throttle body actuators, stuff like that. There are some outstanding items still, like rod bearings, which is a huge topic on these cars. But I have a bunch of things planned for this, modifications, maintenance items, which you guys will see in a future episode of Eat, Sleep, Drive. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if I've redeemed myself by replacing my AMG with this M3. I love it. It was a blast to drive, and it had a bunch of crap in it. I can't wait to drive it without all this crap. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you want to see what's coming up on future episodes of Eat, Sleep, Drive, check me out on Instagram at Eat, Sleep, Drive TV. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode. See ya.